Hey buddy, you gonna do some pruning with us? What are we doing, buddy? What are we doing? We're gonna go prune? Yeah, we're gonna go prune. Ah. All right, let's grab these guys here. Henry is loud today. You got him? This is a mess. Oh my Lord. We gotta do something about that alley. All right, headed out to the orchard here. And we need to get some pruning done today. There's Henry, crazy old boy. Always taking care of his hens. Hey, you guys want to check something out? So I got this new iPhone and it's got this cool setting. As you can see, it's like this fisheye view. And you can see the entire chicken coop in one shot. I love this thing. I love this view. I'm so not techie, and I'm figuring this stuff out slowly as we go. Let's go check this side out. That is so cool, man. I love this. Right on. You can see everything. It's such a small space.
Wait, we're doing the apple trees?
Yeah, we're doing the apple trees. So here's where we're at. We got a nice that chicken. We got a nice little pile of chicken stuff over there waiting for us to compost. Anyway, so we've got our row of apple trees here, and I didn't prune them back last summer, as you can see. Check that out. Look at all that growth was just last summer. It's probably going up like 8 foot, 9 foot at the top there. But what we want to do is narrow all this down. I want to kind of talk to you guys about what I do to prune these things. So a couple years ago, I did a few videos on pruning my apple trees. And as I've showed you guys before, I've got this whole row of espalier apples, and there's 3 apples and then 3 pears down on the end there. I've told you in those past videos, and by the way, I'll put links down in the description below if you haven't seen them yet, but I told you guys that I kind of have 2 different styles of pruning depending on the time of year. So the first one would be winter time, and that's for form. And then the second style would be the summertime, and that's for function. So here's what I'm talking about. All right, so if we come in here, you will see that, first of all, this thing's got a ton of water sprout growth, and it's like that all the way down the entire row of trees here. And it's because I didn't do my summertime pruning. I did it pretty religiously for a couple of years, but here's what we're after here. So if you come down here, you can kind of see I've got the beginnings of structure, and that's what we're after in the winter time, structure. So you can see this nice thick stalk coming up. I think I'm going to do a heavy pruning this time. We'll see how this ends up turning out. But if you see this guy coming up right here, I want to take him down a little ways. Then we've got one a little bit over here. We've got this one here, and you can start seeing a pattern. We've got our main trunk right here, and then we've got all these little growths, and these are thicker. These are thicker right here. And then we've got all this water sprout stuff here. Now, if we come in a little closer, you will see this little stuff. These are what we're after keeping. These are the fruit spurs right here. When you see tons of little bud sites, I don't even know what you'd call them, but little bud sites just kind of stacked on top of each other. See if we can get that. Stacked on top of each other. That is a fruit spur, and those will usually produce apples right there. We've got, these might be fruit spurs right here too. Kind of interesting, but you see those little guys. There's another one up there. You see them all over this thing. These are all fruit spurs. All these little short, stubby, stocky kind of growths right here. We don't want to take too many of those off because we've worked hard to build those. Now, usually those will form in this, well, they always form in the summertime, but you can force more of them to form by pruning in the summertime. That's the function part I'm talking about, summertime pruning. And so if you come in here when these suckers are just getting up about here and you snip this back after about 3 buds, boom, those couple buds, 2 or 3 buds will shoot off fruit spurs. Now you can see I didn't do that here last year, and so you can see that they didn't end up forming fruit spurs here, but I've still got plenty of fruit spurs from previous years. All right, so I got my trusty Corona shears here. I love these things. I know there's nicer, more luxury models, but this is my favorite pair. So I come in here and these are all just water sprouts. We're just gonna snip these guys off, and I want this branch to end right here anyway. So we're gonna take that guy off completely, and I just start snipping and throwing them at the ground. you don't need to spend too much time. This is actually a fruit spur right here, but it's kind of coming out here too far. I'm gonna have plenty further in the tree, so I'm gonna snip off right before that fruit spur. I should get an apple right there. And we're just gonna start whittling this guy back. Now I just wanna kind of stand back and see, what do I want to hang on to? I definitely wanna hang on to a lot of these fruit spurs, and so I don't wanna clip too many off. This right here, I wanna start knocking back a little bit. So you can see I got a fruit spur right in there. You got that, Allie?
Yeah.
It's just a little stubby guy. So I'm gonna go just above that, because none of this stuff is gonna fruit up above it. So we're gonna take that off. Here's something I wanna show you too. Let's zoom in on this. See these little buds coming up along here? Chances are real good. Those are not fruit spurs, they're just buds. Chances are real good that if I leave them, I'm not gonna get fruit on them. It's just gonna grow new branches. So really it doesn't make any sense to leave that there. I'm just gonna cut that off. This one right here is actually a fruit spur, and so is that. So I've got a real good chance of getting fruit off of those. So like right here, I've got this branch, but it's starting to kind of grow all over into the areas, and all this is just sucker water sprouts, sucker growth, all that kind of junk. I never got fruit on this branch, I can tell you right now. I think this one's not really doing much anything. I'm gonna snip it back here, see how it looks. Like I said, winter time is for form. Let's, this is all garbage, that's not good. And this one's going, it's crossing across all these branches. You don't want that. There's a little fruit spur. More than likely that will become fruit. I'm gonna whittle this down a little bit too. All right, check all this out. We have got all kinds of cutting material in here. So this is actually, you've seen me do grafting videos in the past. One particular grafting video, the apples, but this is prime material. You would just cut these down into like 6-inch, 8-inch sections and put them in your fridge right now in a plastic bag, and it'd be perfect scion material. But I get a lot of questions about, can you root apple scions? Just root them instead of graft them, and I've never tried that, but maybe we ought to try it. You got it. Here, I'll help you a little bit. Let me, okay. You squeeze the back and I'll squeeze the front. Go! Quick! Squeeze!
We got it.
We did it! See how before I kind of had it going in this pattern here?
Yeah.
It's kind of mounted up in the center. I don't know if I want to go that high again. I might want to bring it down. What do you think?
Okay.
Or do you like it kind of going up in that whoop-de-doo?
I don't know.
Here. Let's prune it down to the whoop-de-doo, and then we'll make a decision from there. Look at all these fruit spurs. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. You know, it's like there's nothing perfect or exact about this. You don't want too many branches crossing each other. Sometimes they can do okay in the middle if going towards another branch, but you got to make sure that there's space. And this one's like in space here on its own. It's not crossing branches, and so we're okay with that. And maybe next winter we'll cut it off, but this winter I think we might leave it and get an extra apple or two out of that spot. What do you think? How's that look?
Good.
So there's our apple tree, and we've pruned it down pretty good. I think I might actually come back and kind of take some off of there. And you can see we've got some potential fruit spurs up in there, but I may take that chunk off just to kind of knock it back closer to the main stalk there, because I don't want it to travel out too far one way or another, because we got a nice aisle here that we mow down. But looking good. What do you think?
It looks cool.
How about like right where my finger is right there?
Right there?
There you go. Oh, you got the finger. Just kidding.
Dad.
All right, come on over here. And we'll just, what we'll do is just tie, actually, right in there. All right.
Tie it down?
Yeah, so you're gonna wanna tie, we're gonna have to tie it in a couple of places. So actually, I usually start back because there's a lot of pressure down there. Yeah,
Here?
go ahead right there. You got it. There you go, pull it tight and I'll help hold it. There you go.
Come on.
There you go. You got it.
To do it again?
All right, yeah, go cut another piece of that. Yeah, that's fine. One right there.
Right here?
Yep, and then we'll do one on the end. Just until it gets set into place. It'll go through probably a couple growth seasons to where this is thickened and hardened up enough to where it can stay there on its own. One more on the end here, right down here. There you go. You got it. You got it, buddy. You got her okay? There you go. I try not to wrap these branches around the wire. I did that the first year and I didn't like it because then eventually I want to be able to get that wire unattached from all this. This one just kind of naturally, I don't know if I did that or if it did it on its own. Just the way it grew. It is, oh, it is kind of, oh, nope, we're good. I thought it was growing into that. I kind of like to keep that separate from the wire. So that's still holding on, that's good. Let's wrap this guy right around here and we'll force that branch to grow outward. So you have to wrap it right up just by my finger almost, or maybe a little, just past that bud. There you go, right there. And we'll tie it tight. It'll force it down to that wire. There you go. Here, I'll put my finger there. And then in doing that, there you go, it'll pull back a little bit tight. There you go. And that's okay, just like that. It's still a little messy. I may even come back out and clean it up some more. There's a lot of growth all throughout there, but it's looking pretty good so far. We'll see how it, we'll see what I feel here after we get this one done. We got 2 more apples. Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing. You were asking about what? These little guys, these little root suckers. So we definitely got to take those off. You can see the old graft union right there, and this is a dwarf root stock. I don't know what dwarf root stock. There you go. Yeah, you wanted to snip these off, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know what dwarf root stock that is. I bought this tree at a nursery. And by the way, this is a Gala semi-dwarf. It just doesn't say what root stock they used, but it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna clip that. We're gonna clip all this stuff off. There we go. It's not easy down there, is it?
Yeah.
Every year I get this stuff just coming up like crazy. It's a strong rootstock. And I've actually gotten a couple questions about that lately. My favorite rootstock, you got her? There you go. My favorite rootstock is the Emla M111. It's just very disease resistant. It's dwarf, semi-dwarf. It's actually one of the larger of the dwarf, but you can always prune trees back to the size you want them. And it's fairly vigorous, but I just like it. It's good rootstock. And it's what I actually grafted my apples to in that video I did before on apple grafting. All right, get that out of there.
Do these grow every summer?
Every summer, buddy. It's a never-ending battle for the rest of our lives. But I'm addicted to pruning, so I guess it all works out. So Allie just pointed out this one doesn't have stragglers. Isn't that what you said, stragglers? That sounds like a good word for them. Little suckers from the rootstock. I don't know why. Maybe that rootstock's just not prone to that. But this one over here does have a bunch of them. Which one is this guy? This is Fuji semi-dwarf. I remember this one being a really good apple. I know. Oh, there's a little apple that got missed by the birds. A little tiny apple. Ugh. And this one is, boy, that stalk is getting thick.
I think that's Yellow Delicious or something.
Oh yeah, that was the one you picked out, wasn't it? You said your favorite. Yellow Delicious. Yep, that's it.
My favorite.
All right. We gonna get after it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I just don't want to take something off that's bad.
You know what, buddy? Like I said, it's an art.
And it'll grow back.
And it will grow back. Whatever we prune that we wish we didn't prune we'll be here to prune again next year. There's like a bazillion fruit spurs right in this little pocket here, and yeah, you technically want to take a bunch of them off, but geez, man, I like them on there too. I want to see all them apples. And these trees are strong. I mean, they're good. They can support them. They've been here for a while, so I don't mind letting them work for a living. Yeah, you see, you're starting to see it. You got the eye for it. Got it right there, exactly. You see it, you got the eye for it. Don't second guess yourself. You've got the eye for it now. It just takes a few minutes of standing back, looking at it, figuring out what you're going after, and then boom. All right, let's do this branch right here. So we'll have to make sure he's tied up because he's completely flopping around. There you go. All right, I think the rest of it, that's still holding there. That's okay. That's good. I think the rest of it's working out. So there it is so far. Next apple tree's next. One of the things I wanted to talk about was right in here. So like I've got a bunch of little cuts like this, but this branch is coming straight out. We've got one coming down and one coming up. I kind of like these, the ones that are going down, so I leave them. It's kind of fun to watch them develop, little apples hanging off of them. You could take them off and make it all clean all the way across, but I think it's kind of cool. But right here at these little Ys, or where you've got like a fork coming out, it's best to cut the center one so that they're growing away from each other, and then you don't have to worry about crowding, and you get good airflow in there and just better development of the apples. As we go, I don't want to keep letting the scaffolding grow up and up and up, so I'm kind of doing a bigger pruning this year. You can see some of these chunks I've taken down quite a ways, but I'm doing a little bit bigger pruning this year to kind of knock it down some. This thing is right at probably, we're just under 6 foot right there at the very top. And this is all designed so that my wife and my daughters can come out here and pick apples without having to reach up too high. And I don't want to have to reach too high either. the pears are like that. The apples are easier to tell. The pears have big buds, and they'll have beautiful flowers on them.
Get it down there. That one's kind of thick. It's straggling. It's gross.
Yeah, buddy.
Whatever it's called.
Let's get it.
The
Sucker.
sucker. That's really nice.
See how this has got a bud here on the bottom and a bud up here on the top? If you prune here, the top bud will grow up. If you prune here, the bottom bud will grow out more and up. So you can actually train this thing to grow in the way you want it to grow by pruning it back to the bud that you want it to grow from. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to do there, buddy. It's your art form. I'm just here for the ride. This is all yours, Allie. I'm just the caretaker.
It's
right?
mine.
Well, you and Emily. Oh! Oh! You got it?
Ooh,
You all right?
that was close.
There they are, all 3 apples. Pretty cool, huh? Everything's whittled down, looking good. Now, like I said, I could come back here and probably just kind of clean some things up a little bit. There's a few areas on there that maybe I could, you know, if I really wanted to, I could kind of just overall shape it a little bit better so that we don't get a lot of growth growing into each other. But overall, we've taken a lot of material off of these 3 apple trees. This one especially, but this one's so vigorous. Look at the size of that stalk. It's, what did we say, 4 or 5 years old on these guys?
Yeah,
That's just a vigorous one, that Yellow Delicious. And then we've got our pears to go, so let's get after that. Another point I wanted to make was some people get really hung up on exactly where to prune and what to prune. And, you know, I could probably take this back even further, and you can do a lot more to this, but remember, it's whatever you want. This really is an art form, and you're going to shape it the way you want it to grow. I could probably, now that I'm looking at it, I actually end up coming back out and taking off more material on these over time, but I'll probably knock that one way back too. It's just getting out there a little bit too tall and lanky, but there's no exact right perfect way. And you'll hear people saying that, you know, there's kind of guidelines to go by, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of what you feel and what you're wanting this thing to look like in the end. The 2 rules though generally are, in the wintertime you're going to prune for form, in the summertime you're going to prune for function and fruit spur growth. Other than that, what do you like to see? Hey, looky there, we got thing 2 back home. You have fun with Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you guys do? Whoa, you first. What'd you guys do? Store? Bank?
Yeah.
Went to town? All right, what are we doing in here? I love that this camera can pick up more of this room. Look at that. Let's see some eggs in here.
There's
Ooh,
a
we got a chicken.
chicken.
Oh, I love these chickens. These are my favorite. These are my favorite. They're so friendly. Any eggs? She's probably sitting on them. Oh, there she goes. We got eggs. That's awesome. I love our own fresh chicken eggs. Somebody mentioned this morning that they figured out that they clean out their chicken coop 3 times a month, and it costs them.
An egg.
Did she? She pulling out of there. Woo! And it ends up costing them $30 a month in shavings, and it's not worth it because they can buy the eggs cheaper at the store. And I thought, there's so much more to it than that. I mean, these chickens are, what are they? There are eggs, there are meat. They till the garden out here. Look at that. There's our whole garden area. They tilled all that up for us, got rid of all the weeds and grass, and they fertilized it as well. And they're just a lot of fun. Teaches our kids responsibility and chores, shows them where the food comes from. Chickens are awesome, man.
They really are.
And for anybody wondering, we don't clean that chicken coop out 3 times a month. Probably more like once a month. All right, show me where you're looking.
Right here.
Yeah, you can see that's a water sprout. It's growing up real tall there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you come down in here, we've got little fruit spurs with a whole bunch of little rings around it, and it's tight and short and compact. That's probably gonna have pears on it.
That's
Same with
gonna
that.
be a
Look at
pear.
that little guy right back in there. Which one?
That one.
That might be, yep, that looks like it could be a pear. Yeah, so you wanna snip that back right there at the base. Yeah, there you go.
Easier to snip.
Oh yeah. And these actually might have sap starting to flow because these things start flowering earlier on in the season. Yep, you got it. You got it. And I don't even mind doing a heavy pruning like on these guys because all this is all water sprouts, that whole area. And we've got fruit spurs more than likely down below. So no, that's not a pear. Yeah, I suppose it could be, but I would probably knock it back there. I'm trying to kind of knock these trees down again a little bit. One thing too is the heavier you prune, the farther back you knock these main branches, the more vigorous it's going to come back the following summer. So we'll have to be prepared for that because these things will get out of hand if we take too much material off. So here I got another situation where I've got these 2 branches and they're kind of crossing each other there and rubbing, and that'll create an area where bugs and fungus and all kinds of issues can develop up under there. And so I'm gonna have to remove one of them, and I've already been kind of looking this over, and I think I'm gonna remove this one right here because that's growing more inward and just free up a lot of space, get rid of potential problems down the road. This one, those might be fruit spurs though, but I don't know, it's kind of weak growth. Ah. What do you think? Did we get it?
I feel like we should cut this one all the way back here.
Let's do it. Because remember, there's no right or wrong. Didn't Bob Ross teach us that? Don't say it.
Oh?
See? I said don't say it.
Why?
Because I sound old when I say that. when you feel that, when you see that branch and you feel it in your gut, where does that thing want to go? Where's that pruner want to go? Where does it want to go? Quick, don't think about it. Just put the pruner where it wants to go. Where do you feel it in your gut? Do it. Go. Go. Do it. Do it. Whatever you feel. Now, wait, before you do it, I'm just curious why you feel that. What if these came up and then they formed thicker, heavier branches that could then become part of the scaffolding? Would you see that? I can see your way too. You choose, okay? You choose. There's no right or wrong. You choose. You choose. So that's another thing I kind of prune for is I like to see, you know, they're trees. They're not going to be perfect every 6 inches. But I like to see upright, 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 upright. You know what I'm saying? All the way down. And then you've got, you know, these are a little packed in tight, but you got upright, 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 upright. So anyway, there it is. That's what I'm kind of shooting for. They look good?
Yeah.
Now this one is Moon Glow, and I strictly bought this as a pollinator for the other pairs. It was supposed to be a really good pollinator. I got a couple pairs off of it so far, but it's been a smaller, slower growing pair than the others. You can see the size difference. Let's see, get up here to this guy. It's a pretty hefty stalk. My hand almost fits, well, pretty much fits around it there. We'll come over here. And this one right here is a much smaller stalk, you can see. So it's been a slower growing pear tree, but it's a good pollinator. So it'll get there. It might take a little more time, but I had a branch break over here at one point. So I'm still working on getting this out to the edge. That was a nice new little branch I was looking for. This one, if you guys watch that, I did a bunch of fig orchard videos out there last year. And this was that hornet's nest was stuck on there, and one wind came along and it finally just fell off, but that's what we're left with. These might all be pears in here. I really want something like what we got down here going on so I can extend this out the rest of the way to this post here, but we are not getting that so far on this one. It's just having a tough time. This guy right here will probably fold down or try to without breaking anything. It's pretty stiff. We got this stump in the way. That's always been there. It was a huge tree and we cut it down because it was sucking the life out of the orchard area over here. But I got some plans for that. Something cool coming up. Start with this one right here. So this branch is older and stiffer. It might break on us. So maybe what we'll do is we'll just go part way down. Don't pull it tight when you, oh, it broke. You know what though? We've still got some cambium intact. It might heal that way. So just tie it. Go ahead. Just don't pull too tight. Just kind of loosely hang it there. There you go. And then put a double knot. There you go. And we'll just leave it there. We'll see what happens. It might heal. We'll see. There's a little cambium intact.
That'd be cool if it did.
If it doesn't, that's okay. We'll start over again. Let's get this side. This tree has always struggled to reach out. We finally got some nice growth here on this one. There you go. You're getting the hang of this, buddy. Good job. All right, and then this right here, we'll just do right over on the edge, and it doesn't have to be too crazy. Just enough to hold it down so it doesn't reach up. You got her. There you go. There you go. We're good. There's nothing we can do with that.
All done.
Hopefully that heals. There it is. Entire row.